During the week, the Russian aerospace forces carried out numerous pinpoint strikes on the industrial zone of occupied Zaporizhzhia. Among others, production workshops of Zaporizhstal and one of the Motorsich plant workshops came under attack. Another target of the Russian aviation was the premises of the Ivchenko Progress Enterprise. As a result of strikes, volumetric fire was recorded at the facility. In the Odessa region, Russian UAVs hit the port infrastructure of Izmail and a ship repair plant. In addition, enemy facilities on Snake Island and in the area of Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky were also attacked. In addition, Russian forces struck the territory of the Pivdenmash plant in Dnipro. This is the second strike on the plant this year. The previous one was on February 23rd. In turn, the enemy launched drones at the Rostov region. Russian air defense shot down 6 UAVs on the approach to Novoshakhtinsk. No casualties or damage were reported. During the night from Saturday to Sunday, the AFU organized another massive UAV raid. The Russian Defense Ministry reported about the interception of 125 drones in 7 regions and over the Sea of Azov. In the Sudzha district, there is fighting on the outskirts of Plekhovo. Russian UAV operators and artillerymen are firing at AFU positions in the village. In the Kursk region, fighting continues in the Glishkovo district. After sustained losses and a number of unsuccessful attacks, the AFU have reduced the intensity of assaults. On the Slobozhansk direction, Russian troops were recently forced to abandon the industrial zone in Vovchan. After 4 months of fighting, the territory of the aggregate plant is no longer suitable for defense, and now the AFU infantry is sitting there under shells and FABs. Nevertheless, Russian servicemen managed to achieve success at the Hlai-Bok-Staritsia line. The assault groups occupied the forest belt near the border adjacent to Zelin. In the Kupiansk-Svatov direction, Russian troops broke through enemy defenses in the direction of the Oskil River. During the attack, they managed to occupy a large stronghold, leaving less than 2.5 kilometers to the northern outskirts of Krylyakivka. In the Lyman direction, Russian troops continue to improve their tactical position within the borders of Makivka. In the course of the surge, they managed to gain a foothold on the western outskirts of the village. In the Siversk direction, Russian aviation almost daily hit the AFU temporary deployment site in Siversk. At the same time, fighting continued in the area of Bilohorivka, Vremivka, and Rozdalivka. In the Artemovsk direction, Russian troops are advancing on the western outskirts of Kalinov. At the moment, the assault groups have established control over almost the entire territory of the village. On the Oleksandro-Kalinov direction, Russian troops have taken full control of Pivnishne and are advancing in the urban area of Toretsk. Fighting is taking place in the area of District Number 1 and on Stepova, Dohayeva, and Pushkarenka streets to the west. In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian troops finally liberated Mykolaievka and Krasny Yar. At the moment, there is fighting to the north 2 kilometers from the outskirts of Mirnohrad. To the south, Russian forces advanced in the fields west of the Novogrodovskaya mine towards Lysivka. Significant advances were made south of Selidov, where a Russian landing group gained a foothold in the forest belt on the outskirts of the town. On the Donetsk direction, a Russian armed forces landing group made its way to the forest belts north of Sukharine and entrenched itself in the area. To the southeast, Russian troops liberated Jalan Persh and entrenched themselves near school number 17 in Hernik. In the South Donetsk direction, Russian troops have finally taken control over the Yuzhnodonbasskaya No. 3 mine territory. In addition, they expanded the zone of control in the fields south and north of the mine, as well as in the Solonenka Gully south of Katarinivka. In the Vuhledar area, the Russian armed forces advanced towards the town from the direction of Preshestivka and Pavlivka, taking the town in a semicircle. On the eastern outskirts of the town, an advanced assault squad entrenched itself on the territory of a former bakery and pumping station. No changes in the configuration of the front were observed in the Vremivka direction during the past week. The sides are exchanging blows and rotating on the site, preparing for possible front activation. On the Zaporizhzhia direction, Russian forces went on the offensive north of Nesteryanka. During the battle, the Russian armed forces took control of a stronghold, but a large-scale attack is out of the question. On the Kherson direction, fighting in the island zone is going on as usual. Russian troops have struck at the enemy temporary deployment sites in Kherson, Kazamys, and other settlements on the right bank.